Iran issues arrest warrant for Trump, asks Interpol to help.
Here's a summary of the article.
Iran has issued an arrest warrant and asked Interpol for help in detaining U.S. President Donald Trump and dozens of others it believes carried out the drone strike that killed a top Iranian general in Baghdad. Tehran prosecutor Ali Al-Qassamer said on Monday that Trump, along with more than 30 others Iran accuses of involvement in the January 3 attack that killed General Qasem Soleimani, face murder and terrorism charges, the semi-official ISNA news agency reported. Al-Qassamer did not identify anyone else sought other than Trump, but stressed Iran would continue to pursue his prosecution even after his presidency ends. Al-Qassamer was also quoted as saying Iran had requested a red notice be put out for Trump and the others, the highest-level notice issued by Interpol, requesting that seeks the location and arrest of the individual named. Iran to execute alleged CIA spy involved in Soleimani's killing. After receiving a request, Interpol meets by committee and discusses whether or not to share the information with its member states. Interpol has no requirement for making any of the notices public, though some do get published on its website. The assassination came after months of incidents raising tensions between the two countries and ultimately saw Iran retaliate with a ballistic missile strike targeting American troops in Iraq.
This post received a score of 110,000, with an upvote ratio of 85%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Greater than it is unlikely Interpol would grant Iran's request as its guideline for notices forbids it from undertaking any intervention or activities of a political nature. If the whole world saw what happened, and the whole world agrees that it was an assassination of a foreign official on third country soil without the permission of said third country, where exactly does Interpol think the politics end and the crime, terrorism begins? How can any politician be held accountable internationally if basically every crime they commit is politically motivated? And isn't terrorism by definition a political act? If taken to its full logical conclusion, Interpol is useless because someone could argue that any arrest of a government official is political activity because politics are inherent in literally all international affairs. Even arresting the money heist gang would be political in nature when considering why the state found it so damned important.
Greater than and isn't terrorism by definition a political act? Doesn't Interpol rarely get involved with anti-terrorism stuff and focuses on international crimes?
Last time The Hague tried to try an American soldier, a judge resigned after the U.S. threatened their families. Edit 1. As someone pointed out, the U.S. does prosecute war crimes themselves. X. Trump pardoned a war criminal early this year in Blackwater. Edit 2. As you, Boab Honker, pointed out, I confused two stories. Pompeo threatened the families of the ICC with a veiled threat and Bolton threatened the OPCW families very explicitly, but he never said anything about killing.
Yeah, I mean the US literally has this law on the books. You can't arrest me. I have a law protecting me from your laws.
Laws only matter when you have the smaller stick.
Precisely. Which is why the world's biggest superpower is the one making the rules. And why nobody gives a shit if another country thinks the US is committing war crimes. The potency of foreign laws is only measured by their ability to enforce said laws, and literally no one has the power to enforce any laws against the US, currently. Because ultimately, laws are backed by the threat of power.
Yep. It'd take a pretty huge coalition of major countries to rival the straight-up power of the US military. A war against Russia and China would mostly prove disastrous, but only if we were on the offensive. I feel as though unless nukes were launched it'd be next to impossible to successfully invade the US. Edit. Clarity of language.
Great callback to episode 1 of 2020.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.